Hi, I've got some great news and I can hardly wait to share it with you. It can protect your patients, your facility, and your reputation. First and foremost, this is a senior drug safety program created by Access Safety and made available to you through AMO Employer Services. It is specifically designed for the safety and quality of care of patients in long-term facilities. It's a whole process built around an oral fluid lab test that is non-invasive, needleless, painless, and about as easy to administer as taking a patient's temperature. The necessity of patient drug testing has never been more evident, as thousands die each year and continue to suffer unnecessarily. We're doing something about it. Imagine you've got an 87-year-old woman who's an Alzheimer's patient in your long-term facility, and she's complaining to her son and daughter that she's in constant pain. This means that they're bringing their complaints to you. You're responsible for her care. What are you going to do? I suspect that you'd do what any responsible caregiver would do, and check it out with the nurses who can easily show you that their paperwork is all in line and that the reconciliation program at the pharmacy accounts for all the unused meds. You might even go one step further and conduct random drug tests on your current employees because you care about your patients and you know that having an employee who steals meds for their own use is a hazard to patient safety. Additionally, a problem like that can become a dream for a reporter looking for the next big headline story or a lawyer looking for the next big prize. Drug testing current employees is a responsible action, but it isn't enough. Unfortunately, you still have an 87-year-old woman suffering from Alzheimer's who keeps complaining to her son and daughter that she's in pain. Your worries aren't over. Why? Because deep down you know that you can't guarantee that her medications aren't being substituted, diverted, and sold for their value on the street by an enterprising employee who has discovered this flaw in your system and a window of opportunity to make some money. A lot of it. I realize that you care about the safety of the people who depend on you. If you didn't, you wouldn't be in this line of work. You've worked too hard to build your reputation, and there's way too much at stake to have it all vanish unnecessarily. And we're here to help. If someone were to create the ideal solution, what would you hope for? Would it improve the safety of residents and help make sure they got their correct medications and identify potentially dangerous drug combinations before something awful happened? Would it ensure that patient privacy and dignity would be preserved? Limit your liability? Be available at no cost to your facility? Be done in a way that wouldn't create more work for your staff? Well, that's exactly what we're offering you with our Access Safety program. Here's how it works. Call us and we'll register your facility in our program. We'll organize patient information and establish the point of contact in your organization through whom we will confidentially communicate the results. We will also organize an oral fluid drug testing schedule for your long-term residents who use prescription medications. With your input, paperwork is done by our staff, one time, up front. Beyond that, the only changes to your original setup occur when new residents enter your facility for the long term or leave. On a regular and conveniently scheduled basis, we will send authorized collectors to your facility to collect oral fluid samples from your residents and patients. We will fill out all the relevant paperwork so that your staff's time is not tied up in this process. Our collectors will also package and ship the samples to our certified labs for analysis, where they will be examined for the presence of the most commonly used and abused drugs. We're talking about an incredibly in-depth analysis of over 20 drugs. Our special oral fluid drug testing process is performed in a way that makes the window of detection and accuracy of the oral fluid tests comparable to urine-based testing, except that our process has a few notable advantages. Specifically, it preserves the privacy and dignity of your residents to a much greater degree. The observed collections prevent substitution, adulteration, and enhance accuracy. Unlike urine-based tests, oral fluids can be collected easily at any time. Additionally, our process identifies the presence of the parent drug instead of metabolites, which makes results much more consistent and specific. It makes it possible to detect lower concentrations of drugs too, as drugs of the future are made more effective in smaller doses, and doctors seek to prevent addiction by prescribing smaller doses as well. So that you know residents are getting what they're supposed to and aren't getting medications or illegal drugs they shouldn't be, the results are examined by a toxicologist and a medical review officer who confirms, reviews, and double checks all results that deviate from expectations for both positives and negatives. The MRO privately and confidentially contacts the person you designated and authorized up front in your organization to receive and review the results very quickly so that you can maintain patient safety and limit your liability before it becomes a safety, legal, or news media fiasco. For added protection, our MRO will also look to identify dangerous combinations of drugs. Statistically speaking, if a resident is using 5 or more different prescriptions at once, there's a high probability of developing an adverse reaction, which is obviously an extremely dangerous situation that we'd like to help you avoid. Reports are available by fax or a HIPAA-compliant website. Because this senior drug safety program can be set up in cooperation with Medicare, Medicaid, and third-party insurers, no facilities are ever billed. It's been my experience that the best way to solve problems is to prevent them. So let me encourage you to get started today or contact us with any questions you may have. Thanks for listening.